All right, so now our endpoint services, all these things are ready. Now let's add authentication support in our API. So we are using JWT authentication and we already installed one package, right? Microsoft ASP.NET Core Authentication JWT bearer for this. Now let me close all other tabs. And in here, first thing we need to add the authentication in our main builder.services. So before builder.build, we'll simply say builder.services.add authentication. Okay. Now in this, we can simply provide default options. For options dot, we will use default authentication scheme as JWT bearer defaults dot authentication scheme, which is actually a simple string, but we are using this constant, so it we know what this is. This is not hard coded string. And then default challenge scheme also will set it to the same authentication scheme. Now this is the bare bone authentication setup. Now on this we'll set up our JWT bearer. So we'll say dot add bearer token. Then we'll provide options for this bearer token. So authentication scheme, and then we have bearer token related options. Options, inside this we are going to set everything. Now on this options we have bearer token expiration, not bearer token, add JWT bearer. Let's options dot token validation parameter. Okay, which is a class. Token validation parameters, okay, which adds some properties which we need to define. So it has all these properties. We will not use all the properties, but we'll use a couple of. So for this token validation parameters, we'll say new token validation parameters. Let's add this in using, right? Then here what we'll have, first thing we'll say what is the valid issuer for our tokens, and this should be in sync with our this issuer which we are using when we are creating the secure this JWT token. So that means we need the same thing there as well. Configuration JWT issuer. Let's come back, and here we can say var issuer equals this. Now this configuration we can get from this builder. So builder dot configuration dot get value and JWT issuer. So here we'll say valid issuer is this issuer for us. Okay. After that, we will tell it that you need to validate this issuer. Right now we're just setting it. So we'll say validate issuer true. Yes, you need to validate the issuer. Okay. After that, we'll say you need to validate the issuer signing key. So this signing key is actually this signing credential, this symmetric key. So we need to get this symmetric key here as well. So for validating issuer signing key, we need to tell it what is the issuer signing key. That is going to be issuer signing key equals, we just need to get the signing key. We will come here, we'll get these first three things. We'll add these here. So security key, secret key, we are creating security key byte array, then we are creating the symmetric key, and this symmetric key we are going to use it here. This configuration would become builder.conf. Save it, and now we should be good with the very bare bone default minimal setup. Now this is okay with for authentication. Now we need to add authorization as well. So we'll say builder.services.add authorization. All right. Now when we have authentication authorization set up, we will add these to our request pipeline. After builder.build, where we have our app, inside this we are going to have this. After HTTPS redirection, we are going to use app.use authentication and .use authorization. Now we have set up our authentication and authorization for our API. Let's try to build it. It should build fine actually. And build successful. So with this, we are good with all the API related setup. Now we can move to the UI mobile app to consume this API, right?